Hello everybody, my name is Desiree Perez and today we're going to discuss about the preposition and the prepositional phrase. Okay, what is a preposition? A preposition is a word that shows a connection or relationship between other words in a sentence. So a preposition tells details like place, time, direction, and other information. So preposition basics. A preposition is a word or group of words used before a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase to show direction, time, place, location, spatial relationship, or to introduce object. So some examples of prepositions are words like in, at, on, off, and to. So as you can see in my background, here are the prepositions of time, preposition of place, preposition of directions, and preposition of others. We have here the preposition of time. We have the on, the in, and the at. So on is used as a preposition in time expressions with specific days of the week. Note, on the weekend is used in the American English. Okay, we have here the examples. We have on Tuesday, on Saturday, on April 5, on 12 March 2019, on Sunday morning, on Christmas Day, on my birthday, on New Year's Eve, on Independence Day. So we have here the in, or the preposition of time. So use in with parts of the day, not specific time, months, years, and seasons. Like for example, we have here in 2010, in the 18th century, in the 1960s, in the next century, in the Ice Age, and February, in the Middle Ages, in the summer, and in the past. So next, we have here the preposition of time, the word at. So at, use at with the time of the day, also use at with noon, night, and midnight. So here are the examples, like at sunset, at sunrise, at bedtime, at noon, at dinner time, at midnight, at 11:30 p.m., at 12 o'clock, and at lunchtime. So next, we have here the preposition of place. So a preposition of place is a preposition which is used to refer to a place where something or someone is located. So there are only three preposition of place. However, they can be used to discuss an almost endless number of places. So in my background, as you can see, I have here the examples of the preposition of place, which is the at, the in, and the on. So first we have here the at. So at used for a point. For example, at college, at home, at reception, at school, at the bottom, at the cinema, at the corner, at the desk, at the dinner. So next, we have here the in. So used in for enclosed spaces and larger areas. For example, we have here in a taxi, in the sky, in the building, in a row, in the newspaper, in a boat, in Germany, in my pocket, in the park. So next, we have here the on. So used on for surfaces seen as a point on a line by a lake or a sea. So we have here the example, like on the way, on the radio, on a ship, on the floor, on the table, on the rug, on a train, on the wall, on the television. So next, we have the preposition of place. So in a sentence, our friends in the apartment above us are really noisy. So the word above is our preposition of place. Next, we have the preposition of direction. So let's put it in a sentence. It's easier to run down the hill than to go up. So the word down is our preposition of direction.
Object of preposition. A preposition as a partner. This is a noun or pronoun. After the preposition, we call this partner an object of the preposition. The object of preposition is the noun or pronoun governed by a preposition. It is usually but not always the noun or pronoun to be the right of the preposition. For example, We went on Thursday. Our preposition here is on, and our object is Thursdays. The second example is the girls in the park. Our preposition here is in, and our object is park. The third example is the new hospital is located near parks and beaches. Our preposition here is near, and our object is the parks and the beaches. Why should I care about the object of preposition? There are two good reasons to think a little more carefully about the object of preposition. Reason number one, using whom correctly. When the object of preposition is a pronoun, it must be the object case. This means that the words like he, she, they, and whom change to me, him, her, them, and whom when they are governed by a preposition. Go with her. For example, go with her. When it's the object of preposition is she, changes to her. So, listen sa may istorya tao, go with she. So, di ba, like paminaw? So, we need to change it to a preposition like go with her. Go with her. So, the second reason is making sure your object and the verb are agreed. The object of the preposition cannot be subject of a verb. Example number one, a box of magazines are under the stairs. So the example of number two is the correct one. A box of magazines is under the stairs. Don't be fooled by proximity of the object. The preposition of the preposition to be the verb. You must be ensured the object or the subject, here box, and the verb agree in numbers. So that's numbers.
So, tricky prepositions. So, English grammar can be tricky, and one or that many students find particularly difficult is preposition. So, note that a preposition links a noun, a pronoun, and a phrases into other words in a sentence. So, and reminder also that tricky prepositions, some words can be a preposition, a conjunction, or an adverb. So, how do you know the difference? So, look at what follows the word. So, look at this group. But, after, as, since, before, and until. So, this group can be tricky because each of them can be used as a preposition or a conjunction. So, how do you know the difference? So, how do you know if it's a preposition or a conjunction? So, you will know because of what comes after the word. When they are used as a preposition, they are followed by an object which is a noun or a pronoun. And when they are used as a conjunction, they are usually followed by a subject plus verb. So here's the example. So we go to school after breakfast. So after is the preposition. So how do we know that? It is because after is followed by a noun which is the breakfast as an object of preposition. So again, after is the preposition. It is because after is a noun that followed the breakfast which is the object of the preposition. Let's look at this next example. So we go to school after we ate breakfast. So remember that they are used as a conjunction when they are followed by a subject plus verb. So we go to school after we ate breakfast. So after is the preposition and we as the subject and ate as a verb. So how do we know that? So it is because of what comes after the word, which is after as the preposition followed by a subject verb, which is we as the subject and ate as the verb.
prepositional phrase has three components. It has a preposition, of course, object, and a modifier. So when we say preposition is a word that shows a connection or relationship between other words in a sentence, and an object is a noun or pronoun after the preposition, and a modifier is a word that describes or modify the object. So there are two types of prepositional phrase. So one is adjective or adjectival prepositional phrase, and adverb or adverbial prepositional phrase. So when we say adjective prepositional phrase, it describes noun and pronoun. We can see noun and pronoun in the sentence. So we have here the example: the dogs in the park run. So based on the sentence, we have the prepositional phrase in the park. So in the park describes the word dog. So what kind of word is a dog? It is a noun. So another one, some of the food is delicious. So we have here the prepositional phrase of the food. So of the food describes the word some. So some is a pronoun. So both of these sentences is an adjectival prepositional phrase because it describes noun and a pronoun. So notice that both of these prepositional phrases follow the word they describe. So another type of prepositional phrase is adverb or adverbial prepositional phrase. So in adverb prepositional phrase, it describes verb, adjective, and adverb. So we have here the example: we ate before school. So what is our prepositional phrase here? So before school. So before school, it tells us when we eat. So it describes the word eat. So what kind of word is that eat? So it is an action word, so it is a verb. Another one, she is tall for her age. So we have what is the prepositional phrase here? For her age. So for her age, it describes the word tall. So tall is an adjective, so that's why it is an adverbial prepositional phrase. Another one, students study late at night. So late at night is our prepositional phrase, and it describes the word late. So late is an adverb, that's why it is an adverbial prepositional phrase. So notice again that each of these prepositional phrase comes after the word they describes. So to identify the type of prepositional phrase, we have these steps to follow in order for us to help how to identify the type of prepositional phrase. So number one, so find first the prepositional phrase. Number two, find the word the phrase describes and identify its part of speech. What kind of part of speech is that? So noun, verb, adjective, pronoun, adverb, etc. So number three, identify the phrase as an adjective prepositional phrase. So whether it describes a noun or a pronoun, or adverbial prepositional phrase that describes a verb, adjective, or an adverb. So we have here the example, the birds fly in the sky. The first step to identify the prepositional phrase is find first the prepositional phrase. So in that example, the birds fly in the sky the prepositional phrase here is in the sky. So, second step is find the word, the phrase describes. It describes, so identify its part of speech. So, in the sky, it describes the word fly. So, that fly, identify its part of speech. So, what part of speech is that word fly? So, it is a verb. And because it is a verb, it is an adverbial prepositional phrase, because an adverbial or adverb prepositional phrase describes the verb, adjective, and adverb. So another example is the birds in the sky fly. Different example from the first. So find first the prepositional phrase. So our prepositional phrase here is in the sky. In the sky, what does it describes? So it describes the word birds. So what kind of speech is the bird? It is a noun. And because it is a noun, it is an adjective prepositional phrase. So tip, often a prepositional phrase is right after the word it describes.
Hello everyone, so let's discuss about the 5 prepositional rules. Rule number 1. Write should have or should have and not should of. Remember, not should of. The same rule applies to could have and would have. Let's get an example. Okay, we have here the we should of come sooner. It's freezing. So our word here is we should of. So what is the rule again? We put should have, not should of. Okay, so instead of putting should of, we remove the of there in the sentence and put them we should have come sooner. It's freezing. So it's correct. Next one is we could of invited Angela too. So again, the same rule applies in prepositional rule. Number 1 is we remove of. Instead of putting of in the sentence, remove that and put have. We could have invited Angela too. That's correct. So let's proceed to rule number 2. Okay, rule number 2 here is use object pronouns after a preposition, not subject pronoun. Again, use an object pronouns after a preposition, not subject pronoun. Okay, so what are those examples of subject pronouns? Okay, first here is I, you, he, she, we, they, and who. So a subject does the action. And how about object pronouns? So what are those examples? Okay, like me, you, him, her, us, them, and whom. So an object receives the action. So we have here some examples of rule number 2. Okay, first example here, first statement here is send an email to Maria and I or me. So you should choose between I and me. So again, from the rule number 2 states here that use object pronouns after a preposition. So you have noticed that our preposition here is and, right? So send an email to Maria and. So after a preposition or after a preposition, we should use an object pronouns. So what again example of object pronouns? Like me. Okay, so our example here is between I and me. So I is our subject pronouns who does the action, while me is our object pronouns who receives the action. So again, the rule number 2 here is use object pronouns after a preposition, not subject pronouns. So send an email to Maria and me. So that's correct. So number 2 here is in class, they, them, and we, us spoke. So the correct here is in class, they and we spoke. Okay, so number 3 here is everyone spoke except they and us. Okay, for the rule number 3 here, it says use a comma after a prepositional phrase that begins a sentence. And however, do not use commas with prepositional phrases in the middle or end of a sentence. Let's have an example for use a comma, okay? At the beach, we relaxed. Again, at the beach, comma, we relaxed. We have also here example of do not use comma, okay? We relaxed at the beach. Again, for our example, we relaxed at the beach. Okay, so let's proceed to rule number 4. It says here that avoid misplaced prepositional phrases. Okay, so place a prepositional phrase by the word it describes. So we have here the example. We learned about the spiders in our classroom. So the intended meaning here is that we learned about the spiders when we were in class. But seems to mean here is there are spiders in our classroom and we learned about them. So how can we correct this sentence? Okay, so all we have to do is that move in our classroom beside the word it describes. So the correct here is that in our classroom we learned about the spiders. So that's the correct. Again, in our classroom, we learned about the spiders. Lastly, for our rule number 5, do not use unneeded prepositions at the end of the sentence. We have here some examples. Why are we going there for? So, why are we going there for? So, our for here, our word for, is our unneeded prepositions that end in the sentence. So instead of putting that one, we should correct that sentence. So we remove the word for and let's say, why are we going there? That's correct. Next example, where are we going to? Where are we going to? So this statement or this sentence, it has unneeded preposition. So we should remove that one, and our unneeded preposition there is the word to. So we remove the word to and says, where are we going? So it's correct. So if a preposition is needed, when you removed it, the sentence meaning changes or the sentence doesn't make sense. Example, where are you from? And where are you? So again, if a preposition is needed, when you removed it, the sentence meaning changes or the sentence doesn't make sense. So that's all for my report. Thank you.